Hey there folks, my name is Luke. This is the Outdoor Gear Review. Now today, a winter storm is on its way. I have a number of miles to go before I get to the campsite. A lot of strenuous uphill miles while contending with ice and snow. Now when it comes to the snowfall totals for this storm, it's up in the air right now. This is a very complex system which is coming in. I'll share with you how my brother put it. He said, dude, are you going out in this? This storm is supposed to be a beast. And he asked me if I was prepared to be out here for multiple days, and I am. With the current conditions, cold, rainy. It's roughly 35 degrees right now. There is a light mist in the air. Time. We are looking at roughly 11:30 a.m. Sunday morning. Location. I've driven to Virginia. Up here in the high elevations, I am making my way to the top of White Top Mountain. How poetic is that, folks? Lots of snow on White Top Mountain. All right, just came across some turkey tracks here. Turkey, turkey, turkey. Going to check my phone here for a second. Got some sort of notification. It says drizzle is starting. Okay, I'm ready for that, but I was hoping that it would hold off until later on this evening. I've got many miles to go to the location where I'm going to set up camp. Doing this hike, going up this mountain, will be so much easier if I'm not in rain gear. All right, now with this tree right here, this is witch hazel. And as you can see, the bark has been shaved off of this. That's a very common thing to do in these parts. They take the bark, they sell it to pharmaceutical companies. And that's because it has many medicinal purposes. The good thing is that it doesn't kill the tree. The bad thing is, it does weaken it. Now, when it comes to snow totals, I'm not going to even mention them. Let's go ahead, forget about that for now. We may talk about it later. You know, with every single winter storm that I go out into, the forecast is wrong, always. While any bit of snow is good snow, makes me happy, I never get the big one that I'm looking for. You never know, friends. I very well may get the storm that I've been seeking with this one here. So this is the setup. Currently, I am on the Appalachian Trail, heading up towards White Top Mountain. As mentioned before, nothing but uphill. It's very steep. Also, it is extremely slick. Take a look at the trail conditions, which I'm dealing with. You can tell that a storm is coming in. When you've lived in the mountains long enough, you could just tell. I mean, not only do you feel it in your body, but you could tell with the environment, with nature. I mean, listen to this, folks. You will hear absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. No birds, no squirrels, absolutely nothing. And that's because everything is getting ready for the storm. Everything is hunkering down. This should, if the forecast is right, this should be a big one. This should be a big one. And it is going to be a ton of fun. I have some great plans for this trip. It will be changing quite a bit, the scenery. Whew. Slick, slick, slick. Also, steep, steep, steep. With this storm here, this really will be winter's last hurrah. After this, it's over. Supposedly it's going to warm up, make it a good storm for me and my friends here. Now, I do have to say this. There is a disclaimer with this video. Please do not do anything that you see me do in this video. I have the skills, the knowledge, and the gear to handle this sort of trip. Not everybody is ready to go into a blizzard. We will talk more about this later on tonight. In my videos, I do a good job of making it look like it's nice and easy to go out into a winter storm, but the truth is, it's not that way at all. Every decision I make is vital and can be life-threatening, especially when you're facing a strong storm like this blizzard here, especially when you're going to one of the highest elevations in the area. As I was filming there, had a couple come by. I don't know how far they went up here. They may have gone up to White Top. What I do know is that they were not prepared for this area. Both were wearing blue jeans. Both of their pants were soaking wet. In environments like this, with conditions like this, you do not wear cotton. That's a rookie mistake. It is gorgeous. There's no doubt about that. Wow. There is nothing like the forest when there is snow on the ground. I mean, check that out. Whew. Beautiful. You have the white of the snow, the green of the moss and the fir trees. Whew. All right. Got to take a break here, cool off a little bit. I'm sweating pretty good. Now, in most of my videos, I tell you all, do not sweat, do not sweat. Well, there are exceptions to every rule. Oh, man. The window of opportunity to get to the top of this mountain before the weather turns is very, very narrow. So I have to go fast. I have to push ahead. I cannot get this in. Oh, God, I mean, I cannot get this bottle in there. Oh, man, that's worse. There will be many times when you're on the trail and you have to make that call. Do you push ahead? Do you go fast and get wet with sweat? Or do you get rained on? Or something like that. Now, because I'm wearing the right clothes here, I can go faster. I can sweat more. My clothes can get wetter. And that's because they dry quick. They're very breathable. They whisk away that moisture. All right, well, I have talked enough. I really need to focus on getting these miles behind me here. Tick-tock, tick-tock. I really would like to get to the top of this mountain before it starts snowing or raining. I'll bring you all back for the second leg of this hike. I just passed another hiker, and this woman knew exactly what she was doing. She had the right clothes, the right gear. She's heading back to the car to get away from this storm. As others head to the car, the lone wolf heads out. That's how it goes. Getting higher up now, the snow is getting deeper. I see that the top of the mountain is engulfed in the fog. I'm starting to feel a couple of raindrops. If it gets any heavier, I will have to put up the camera. Anyways, back to hiking. All right, well, it is beginning to rain now. The camera's got to go up. I do not know when I will be able to bring you all back. I guess I can record some with my phone. That's how it goes, everyone. So update time, still trucking along here, going up. It's spitting the rain. I mean, it's very, very fine. It's not even quite a mist. It's just a drop here and there. It's enough for me to put my camera up. Not enough for me to put my rain jacket on. Right now I'm recording with my phone. Hopefully it's not too shaky. Hopefully it doesn't make you sick With the flash flood overnight adventure, I destroyed the last GoPro. It may be time to get another one. The snow up here is deeper, very slick. Lots of rocks, lots of roots. You really have to pay attention and look at the ground. What is that? What type of bird is that? I have no idea what that is. I'm going to continue on with this adventure, taking note of all of the ice. Tomorrow when I'm coming back, this will be dangerous. Over there, that is Mount Rogers. You can see the water droplet on that limb right there. So the big boy is back out again. It stopped raining. Now with this storm system here, the first part's rain, the second part is snow. Off and on little showers throughout the day. And then tonight, that's when the main storm will get here. The snow will start. It is supposedly going to be extremely heavy, very, very wet snow. Sounds exciting, don't it? It is without a doubt getting colder. The snow is no longer slushy, it's more ice. This is actually making this trail more dangerous. Slush is slick, ice is slicker. You know what I mean? I have to be honest, I am starving. I really do not feel like I have the time to stop and eat. Once I get the tent set up, I will be much more comfortable. I tell you, this really is a beautiful country out here. I mean, it is gorgeous. Good news, everybody. Part 1 of the hiking adventure is done. We definitely have more to do, but it will not be on a trail. That's over for now. Do you guys know where I'm at? You guys should be familiar with this spot. We've been here once before. This is White Top Mountain. Up there, that is where we are going. So now that we're in the clouds here, it is a little bit more wet, a little bit more drizzle. Oh, okay. Yep, this is gonna have to be it. All right, everybody, this is where I'm camping at. The rain is coming down now. I was gonna go all the way up to the top, but the rain is just getting too heavy. I need to waterproof up. All right, everybody, well, it really started raining there for about 15-20 minutes. Thank God for this rainwear here. Otherwise, I would have been absolutely drenched. Now the good news is I have the tent set up. Check this baby out. Oh yeah. For this adventure here, there's a lot of snow coming and I need a very strong tent. And this one here definitely is a strong one. Now check this out, everyone. The ground here is real rocky, it's real shelly. It is horrible for ground stakes. So I've had to do something different. Instead of using stakes, I've used stones. Heavy stones, piles of stones. Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty good shape. I have these guy lines here on the side. I will take care of those later if I decide to. At the moment, I think I'm going to get my bedding all set up, start drying some things out. Might as well get my gear inside of the tent, let it start drying off. I will probably add some more rocks to these staked areas right here. This is just one way out of many ways to secure your tent to the ground when stakes don't work. Now I am in pretty good shape. This is the North Face Zealot 70-liter pack. This is one of the very few North Face packs that they made back in the day that's 100% waterproof. I don't know if they make any more waterproof bags or not, but this is a really good one. And without a doubt, it is waterproof. Food bag. Bag for camera, batteries, and so on. Clothing bag. Ground sheet, which I didn't use, but I should have used. The ground here is covered in broken glass. And I didn't realize it until I began setting up the tent. I was in a rush because the rain was coming down so hard. Sleeping pad. Sleeping bag, oh yeah. Fire kit, miscellaneous bag, power bag, cell phone, flashlight, all that good stuff. And that is that. As you guys can hear, it's raining just a little bit. Gore-Tex is expensive, but if you want the best when it comes to breathability and waterproofness, you cannot go wrong. If you want to save money on Gore-Tex, buy it used. You can always find used backpacking gear, outdoor gear, really cheap online. eBay, Gear Trade. Now luckily, it stopped raining long enough for the majority of my rain gear to dry out. Now, right here, I have this clothesline. This towel is definitely wet. So I'm going to string that up, let it dry, just like so. Yep, it is raining again. And let me tell you folks, this is a cold rain. It's roughly 34 degrees right now. And rain at this temperature is absolutely miserable. It's miserable to be out in that. It looks like I'm going to be stuck inside of this tent for a while, so I'm taking my rain gear off, shoes off, going to get comfortable. I'm going to eat. Walking in snow burns a ton of calories. Factor in the uphill, the gear. I haven't eaten since breakfast. It is now 4 o'clock. In a wintertime situation, if you find that your clothes aren't adequate in regards to temperature and so on, put on your rain gear. Put on your rain jacket, put on your rain pants. That will hold in some heat, keep you warmer. Now with this being a double wall tent, this will hold in quite a bit of heat. Tonight when I go to bed, I can seal it up 100%, and this will stay 15 to 20 degrees warmer than the outside temperature. It really is impressive. Now since it's not all that cold really, I will have the vents open, get some good airflow. That will be important. I think I fogged up that camera. Whoops. You can see here, because of this bright yellow fabric, it does look pretty darn weird inside of this tent. High visibility fabric, that's for sure. Snack time. I'm ready for this. Oh man. That's so freaking good. I am now in the position to basically kick back and relax. There's nothing else to do. It's raining outside. We're up in the fog. You can't see anything anyway. We are in a beautiful location though. I mean, it's simply gorgeous. Very, very beautiful. I cannot wait to see how much snow that we get. Now with the forecast, I really have no idea what's projected right now because cell phone service here is terrible. I can get a few text messages through. That's about it really. Oh man. Yeah. You know, since I'm stuck inside of this tent, I might as well have some nice warm tea. I'll make that in the vestibule here, and that sounds great. Sounds great. Now, since we're stuck inside of this tent, and there's not much to really talk about, I might as well tell you all, share with you all some tips and tricks. And I believe I've shared this pretty much with you before, but why not rehash it? If you're in a situation where it's cold and you have a canister stove, I'm sure you're familiar with the fact that they don't perform very well. Well, that will change if you warm them up. stick them in your pocket, right? Stick them under your jacket, next to your armpit for a while. Let that gas, that fluid, warm up, and then it will rock and roll. It will perform good enough, at least, for you to boil some water, and you'll be just fine. So, as you can see here, I have the door propped open with my shoe. Essentially, my shoes are to prevent that from flapping over and melting when I ignite the stove. Okay. Oh man, the air coming through here is freezing cold. Gosh, this tent is nice. Oh yeah. I tell you what guys, the heat from this stove is warming up the entire tent. It feels amazing. It really does. Having some tea, not having any coffee. I have the ulcer, that's why. That is ready to go. Life is good, everybody. Life is good. Oh, that smells so good. Whew. Gotta close up this tent. Letting out my heat. I'm inside of my tomb, my coffin. Hopefully not my coffin. Some good tea, some good friends, awaiting our storm. The warmth from this, that is worth 500 bucks. Yeah, without a doubt, that is worth 500 bucks. Since the cell phone service out here sucks, but I'm able to send text messages, I will send a message to my evil twin. Yes, if you don't know this, I have a twin brother. He looks just like me. I'm sure he knows the weather forecast. Let's see what he has to say. Hey there, good buddy, comma. How goes your afternoon? Question mark. Question for you, comma. What is the latest forecast, brother? Question mark. I have to hold it up in the air so it will send. That's the only way I can get these messages to go through. We'll see if we can get a reply. I'll tell you, I am so thankful that we were able to get this tent set up before the rain really started coming down. Everyone, cheers. Cheers. All right. Ira says that he's having a great afternoon. He will check the forecast right now. Oh, man. You know, the one thing that I don't want to do is fall asleep right now. Take a 2-hour nap. I would stay up all freaking night long. The perils of not having any caffeine. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, it has been roughly 4 weeks now. No caffeine at all. Probably 5 weeks by the time this video goes up. In previous episodes, I did share with you all how I came about getting this ulcer. Essentially, I was testing out a product. I was doing a review for the Hydro Blue water filter bottle. It was defective. It leaked like a son of a buh. And, yeah, there you go. That is what happened. Essentially, it's a bacteria from contaminated water, and it started eating a hole in my gut. And that's where we are at today. So, it will probably take, I don't know, 2-3 months of antibiotics and so on to get this taken care of. Thank goodness I have some tea. Now, just in case you're wondering, this is caffeine-free, unfortunately. I guess I'm just going to kick back and relax. I have a couple of podcasts which I'm going to listen to. Some are really, really good. Just in case you're wondering, I don't know why. I've always had this thing for like serial killers, true crime podcast sort of stuff. So I have some really good ones that I've been listening to. Just in case you're interested, I listen to Sword and Scale. Fantastic. Really, really, really good. Cold Case Files, the podcast, and Case File, the podcast. All three of these really are terrific. So with that being said, I'll bring you guys back later. I'm going to hop inside my sleeping bag. I'm getting a little bit chilly. I do have more clothes. I may put them on. I think I'm going to just simply kick back and relax. I'll bring you guys back soon.
Episode, he could go with the second-degree charge.
Joe Gentz pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of Jane Bashara.
It is pouring. I've been kicking back, listening to a podcast, listening to the rain, just relaxing, staying warm. Life is pretty good inside of our tent here. Not much to do other than just kick back and relax, so might as well keep doing my thing. Let the podcast continue. All right, coming outside of the tent here just for a minute. It has, well, it's not really done raining. It's still sprinkling, but it's not pouring like it was before. I want to show you all where I'm camping at, so you all can see it now before the snow comes in. As you can see, it's super foggy. Up here on top of the mountain, all by myself. I mean, you can barely see it. That's how foggy it is. This is my oasis. This is my home for the evening. As you all can see there, it is really foggy out there. You know, when you're out backpacking and the fog comes in, stay inside of your tent. Do not go far. I mean, there's been plenty of cases where people have walked away from their shelters, never to find them again, and some have died from exposure. So you really do have to be careful when you're out in conditions like this. Now, later on tonight when we have dinner, I will tell you all a story about some individuals who went out in a winter storm and things did not go well. This is a recent happening in my area, and it's fairly interesting. Now, as it stands now, it's just misting outside. The winds are picking up a little bit. I'm just inside of the tent, relaxing, staying warm. I would go hiking around myself, but I'm going to follow my own advice and stay close to the shelter. I mean, it really is foggy out there. 25 feet away, and you can barely see the tent. 100 feet away, you don't see anything. So I'm going to stay with the shelter, kick back, relax. Let's see. It's almost 6 o'clock now. 7 o'clock, it'll be dinner time. I'll share some stories with you all. Tell you more about this storm. I tell you, I've been laying here, listening to the podcast. I'm toasty warm. I haven't fully fallen asleep, but I have been kind of just dozing just a little bit. Oh man. Don't fall asleep, Luke. Don't fall asleep. I'll bring you all back in a little bit. Alright guys, as an update, it's almost 7:15 p.m. As you can hear, the rain continues. For a while there, the winds were picking up. I really don't know if it's supposed to get really windy tonight or not. I would say being up here on top of this mountain, it's probably always breezy, so who knows. It's about time for dinner. For the last 20 minutes or so, I've had the gas can inside of my sleeping bag, heating it up. This is a good trick. You heat it up right before you use it, and it runs perfectly. And you can cook, boil water, whatever you need to, even in really cold conditions. Now, my plan is pretty simple. We'll go camp out here tonight. Tomorrow, at some point in time in the morning, we are going to pack up. We're going to head down the mountain the way we came. We're going to head back to the car. And from there, we are going to decide what to do. I'm prepared for multiple nights. And if the conditions are really bad, I will stay here, right? I will stay in the area. There's multiple things I could do. I can camp out inside of the car. That'd be kind of fun. I can set up the tent. Whatever I gotta do. I have my cozy, my mountain house meal. Tonight for dinner, I'm having beef stew. I cannot wait. I'm freaking hungry. I'm starving. You have to be careful when using a stove inside of your tent because of the carbon monoxide and so on, but with the right combination of vents open and airflow and using it sparingly, you can. And you can easily raise the temperature inside of your tent, like I am right now. Okay. Oh my gosh, guys, that smells freaking awesome. So what I have here is my cozy. Now I'm going to stick my meal inside of this. That way it doesn't cool down while it's rehydrating. Let me tell you, it is cold and it is foggy outside. I mean, super, super foggy. All right, sealed back up again. With the stove running for 5 minutes, it's quite a bit warmer in here already. It really does make a difference. Again, you have to be very, very careful. Seriously, folks, be careful. The yellow inside of this tent makes it seem like it's a whole lot lighter outside than it really is, but no, it's getting dark. Now, just in case you've forgotten, this is what my face looks like with light on it. If you were inside of this tent when the sun was out, it would just about blind you. It is time to eat. Oh my gosh, just holding this. Oh, that's the best feeling in the entire world. And because I use the Cozy, it is raging hot. Raging hot. That is freaking awesome. I like this meal, but gosh, is it packed full of peas. I'll eat them, but peas aren't my favorite. Now, the story that I have to share with you all ties in directly to going out backpacking into a winter storm. You know, as I mentioned before, and as you all have seen, I make it look pretty easy, right? I've gone into countless storms, you know, sub-zero conditions, pouring snow, you know, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. I always have a great time. The reason that I'm able to do that is because of the knowledge that I have, the gear that I bring, and so on. Now, recently in my area, 3 individuals decided that they wanted to go out for an overnight trip. They chose a mountain, which is nearby to where I live, and they started their adventure, okay? Well, that night some snow came in, which was forecasted. I'm sure they knew of it. Well, things did not go well for them. They had to be rescued the next morning. They could not make their way down. They couldn't find the trail. They didn't have the right clothes. They were freezing. So they had to be rescued from this mountain. That mountain happens to be one that I shared with you all previously in an adventure in cold conditions and so on. Unfortunately, they discovered that they were not ready for such an adventure. They didn't have the skills. They didn't have the gear. They weren't able to navigate their way off of the mountain. Fortunately, they were rescued. They're safe and sound. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I want to encourage people to get out, to explore, to adventure, but go on the adventures that you are ready for, right? Knowledge is power. Skills, knowledge, gear, it's all a combination that goes together. And once you have it, you can do anything that you want to. But don't rush into it. Take your time. Learn. Don't get rescued, because I believe you have to pay for that. And from what I understand, it's very expensive. Very, very expensive. I wasn't originally going to look at the forecast, but I did change my mind. So this is what it says. A complex storm system will develop over the southeastern United States. It will pass over the North Carolina coast late in the day Monday, but confidence is increasing that the storm has the potential to bring heavy snow to much of the forecasted area. When? Sunday night through Monday morning. What? Heavy wet snow. 8 inches up to a foot. Now this is interesting. When? Midnight tonight through midnight Monday. As you can see, the winds are picking up. Now, with the weather forecast, that is what we are looking at for North Carolina. Now, I'm in Virginia, but I'm really, really close to North Carolina. I mean, I think like 5 minutes or something, I can be at the state line, so it's no big deal. I am at a higher elevation, so maybe that will mean more snow. There's definitely lots of snow here, where at my place, there's no snow at all. Now, before I shut off the camera to eat dinner, I have a couple of shout-outs to do. So I have a shout-out here for James and his British Army buddies. Hey guys, hope you are all doing well. Nathan, my friend, I hope you are having fun with your cook set. I hope you're enjoying the hot chocolate. How's Moose doing? Now, a special message goes out to Jayhawk. Jayhawk, he's going through a rough time. He's very young. My thoughts are with you. Be strong. You know, listen to your parents. Everything's going to be fine. My thoughts are with you. Take care, buddy. Take care. That wraps up the shout-outs. Everybody, I'm digging in. I'll bring you all back later. All right, everyone. Well, it is bedtime for me. Time to turn in. Well, to be honest, I am going to watch some movies. I have a couple on my phone. It is very, very windy. It's raining. It may be snowing. I'm not sure. It's pretty cold, man. It's pretty cold up here being up in the clouds. Oh, man. I cannot wait until morning. I can't wait to hear the sound of that snow peppering down upon the tent. Tomorrow, we have a lot of work to do. There's no doubt about that. Well, I'm watching movies. I will see you guys in the morning. Stay warm, everyone. Good night. As you guys can see, it is very, very windy. It's raining pretty darn good too. This storm is definitely coming in. It's intensifying. We're about 20 minutes away before the winter storm warning goes into effect. Look at all that. I am sure that it is going to be a wild night. Oh man. Breaking down this tent in the morning is going to be a real chore. A real chore. Now there may be some snow mixed in with this, I have no idea. I'm not going to stick my head out and look. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this was freezing rain. I mean, the temperatures have to be right at freezing. It's very cold. I don't know. Who knows? We will see in the morning, I guess. I'm laying back down. See you all in the morning. Good morning, everybody. That was one wild night. Man, I did finally go to sleep. I slept pretty good. Once the winds died down, I'd say most of the night it was just insane. The winds were, I don't even know how strong, but this tent was rocking and rolling. It did turn over to snow or sleet or something at some point in time. Let me go ahead and tell you that everything here is iced up. Because we were high up into the clouds, I can't see out of any of the vents. They're just completely iced up and blocked. The tent is coated in ice and snow. I really have no idea how much is out there. I guess we will discover that when it's time to go. Let's see. Oh man, did I get you? Oh, let me show you what it looks like around here. So you can see the snow around the bottom of the tent here. Take a look at that vent. It's heavy, gosh, that's some heavy snow. Well, that lightens things up a little bit, don't it? Super, super heavy. From what I could tell, it looks like whiteout conditions still. Okay, well, I'm going to get up, fire up the stove. It is time for some tea. So folks, let's take a look outside. Let's see what it's doing. Oh my gosh. Talk about being iced up. Oh, man, it's really iced up. I think the zipper is frozen at the moment. Let's try this zipper instead. Yep, as you can see, it is still windy. It does not look deep at all. But gosh, is it cold? I don't think I've ever had ice like that build up on a tent before. I mean, that was like, it's almost an inch thick of just pure ice. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. All right, the can is warmed up. It is tea time now, everybody. Man, that snow is wet. Really, really big flakes. Breaking down this tent and walking out of here is going to be fun. Real fun. It is so unbelievably warm inside of my sleeping bag. I think I've decided that I'm going to stay inside the sleeping bag all day. I'm not going anywhere. What a great adventure that would be. Luke hikes in and then stays. As you can see there, the winds have returned, and really they didn't go anywhere. This tent was so iced up that it was basically a fortress. It wasn't moving, it wasn't budging. Once I busted the ice off, well, now it's back to flapping again. Not fapping. That's something completely different. We're now on our way to T-Town. What I have here is some chamomile tea. And that is good enough for me. It's always a battle about fogging up the camera. Cheers, everybody, cheers. Whew. Let that sit and steep. You know, folks, because this is a 4-season tent, I would not want to be inside of any other tent except for this one. This is a fortress. It's a fortress. I mean, it's handled, 30, 40 mile an hour winds, an inch of ice. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Yes, Helleberg is expensive, but man, it is worth it. It is worth it. Let's see what it's doing out there. Oh, man. It's snowing pretty darn good. Whew. It's coming down. All we have to do is make it back to the car without falling and breaking something. That's the only thing that I'm really worried about with this trip here. The trail that we took to get here is very rocky, lots of roots. There was a lot of ice that's going to be underneath that snow. So, yeah, slow and steady will win the race, that's for sure. That's so funny that it's windy again. I really thought that the winds had stopped, but no. What it was is just the ice that was covering this tent. Essentially, this tent had become an igloo. Now, these are my gloves, right? I have some hand warmers inside of these. I am toasty. I am toasty warm. These are just knit gloves. For the work I'm going to do outside, and if it's really cold and wet, I have these here. These are military Gore-Tex mittens. When it comes to breaking down the tent, these are going to be invaluable. I will be putting on my Gore-Tex jacket, my rain pants. I really don't want to hike with that stuff on, but with this snow being this wet, I pretty much will have to. I will put on my gaiters as well. This way I'm fully protected. I will have to go slower because all of those items will contain more heat. If something happens, I fall, I break my leg, break my arm, I don't want to be covered in sweat when that happens. Yeah, that snow is really, really wet. You can hear it falling off in clumps. When we hop outside of this tent here, the snow on the ground is not going to be a very good indicator of how much snow that's fallen because of how windy it is here. You know, as we were hiking up the mountain, we saw all of those snow drifts that were multiple feet deep, and that explains why they are there. I guess I'm going to cover up, drink my tea. This is, without a doubt, the best sleeping bag in the entire world. It's the warmest sleeping bag I have. My good buddy Eric, he sent this to me. Thank you so much, my friend. I love it. Super warm. It's great. It's great. All right, guys. The hour is up. I can finally eat. I am going to simply have a snack, and then it is time to bounce. You know, for breakfast, I think I'm going with a sugar high. I have a little oatmeal cream pie, which I'm going to eat. Some sugar energy. Oh, yeah. This thing's frozen. Still good, though. Well, it's snowing pretty good. Yeah, no doubt about that. I'm going to finish this, start packing things up, bring you all back in just a minute. Pretty much packed up except for the tent. That will come last. That's the hard part right there. If you don't remove all of the snow, you're carrying back a 20-pound tent. It's one of those situations where you have to make a decision. Do you carry the extra weight from the ice, or do you take the time, get cold because of the wind? I've been getting messages from friends and family. Everybody's checking on me. They're like, oh my gosh, it is really bad. The adventure is just about to begin. Woo! Love this stuff. I love it. I'm fully prepared to go Ninja Warrior now. Towel for the camera. Gloves for me. Let's see who that was. My plan is to come home today, but if the roads are terrible, I'm going to stay in the car until they improve. All right. It must be pretty bad if people are asking me how long I'm prepared to stay for. I'm ready to go. Man, that zipper is frozen shut. Ugh. It's not going nowhere. The other zipper is encased in ice. Woo! It is nasty out there. Okay, I've got to warm up this zipper. I can't get it open. I'll use this hand warmer. That will work. Whew. When you're out backpacking, you have to be creative with your gear, with the items that you brought with you, and with the situations which arise. Like here, this zipper is encoded with ice. I cannot get it open, so I'm using my hand warmer to thaw it out. There we go. That's all it needed. I love it. I love it. That's great. Woo. Guys, it is beautiful out here. Woo, and the ice is incredible. All right, so I'm out. And boy, was I right about that ice. There's ice here. It's 1 inch thick. I mean, it really is. You know, I said that halfway joking, expecting maybe 1/4 of an inch, but no, it's 1 inch thick. I mean, check out this bush. Look at the ice on that. So this is what it looks like here, everybody. And it is awesome. It is awesome. Okay, I'm going to begin breaking this down. That's not going to be easy. I will film some, but not a whole lot. So windy. All right, I have my mittens on. I'm ready to go. Folks, check this out. I told you it was windy. It was so windy that it actually bent one of my stakes. I didn't bend this stake putting it into the ground because the ground is so soft, it's all shelly. This is the force of the wind pulling on it throughout the night. Good Lord, look at that. I told you those winds were no joke last night. This tent's got to weigh at least 12 pounds with all the ice that's on it. That's one heavy tent now. I'm going to take off my down jacket. I'm just way too hot. If If I'm hot from breaking down the tent, I will definitely be hot when I start hiking. Full ninja mode engaged. All right, guys, the adventure continues. Shit, this snow is deep. I mean, take a look at this. That's what we are dealing with today. Oh man, I tell ya, that snow is super wet. You really don't notice it until it's hitting you right in the face and you have to walk into it. Whew. Gosh, it is beautiful, but it is ferocious. I'm walking on this old road here and I'm having a hard time. This is definitely going to take a while. I have to go slow. Every foot placement is going to be so important. I'm not trying to over dramatize this. It is simply how it is. It's one thing to go out camping after the storm's done. It's something completely different to go out in it. Whoa. Slick. You can see there, the winds are definitely blowing hard. As you guys have heard all morning, they're absolutely howling. So I'm hiking off the mountain here. I've been following some fox tracks. It urinated on a rock up there. It was marking its territory, and it's continuing down. I'd love to see the fox, man. That would be so cool. Probably can't see it, but there are the tracks. It's carrying on. In the past, I've had some really awesome experiences with foxes. He continued on this way. He will be the guardian. What do you guys think? Ugh. It really is gorgeous out here though. I mean, it's amazing. Now last night I was talking about how I have to be careful about hiking around and sweating because if something happens, I could easily freeze to death. While this story is slightly different, you will understand why I tell it. About 2 months ago, this guy that I pretty much grew up with, he was essentially a neighbor. I believe he was a little bit older than me. He was like 40 something, 42, 43. I think when I was in elementary school, you know, he was in the higher up grades. One evening he went outside, fell, and he froze to death. He was such a nice guy too. He has a young son who is in elementary school. Isn't that terrible? I mean, it's the little things, man. It's the little things that can get you. That's why you have to be so incredibly careful. Getting off of the road now. It's about time to start heading back onto the AT. I got a little ways to go before I connect up with it. Now that I'm getting onto the trail where it's not so wind-blown, the snow is super deep. So I am having to go really, really slow here. There's so many rocks, so many roots. You take a step and you slide, you slide, you slide. I'm making sure to watch for every single bump in the snow because that is an object underneath it. Now people ask, why don't I snowshoe when the snow's this deep? Well, it's not deep enough. Typically you snowshoe when there's feet of snow on the ground, not a foot. I mean, you definitely can, but it'll simply wear you out, that's all. The plan is to continue hiking on, get down to the bottom, and then I will figure out what I'm going to do from there. Oh, slick. Oh. Coming up to one of those points where it's really, really slick. That's a small one. We have some big ones up here. Navigating this trail is hard. I mean, you guys take a look. Where to go? Where to go? Oh yeah, this is a steep rock. Right here, it's a rock, very, very slick. There's a little bit of a ledge, which I'm going to attempt. Oh man. Just taking a breather. In some ways, it's harder going down than it is up. The good thing is, though, at least I'm not on fire. I mean, I'm not sweating my brains out. It's not very strenuous. Nice and slow, Luke. Nice and slow. Let's see. Oh. Sometimes it's difficult to tell where the trail goes and if there was any trail damage from the night before. You really have to go slow and pick your paths while looking at the terrain. Go with what makes sense. Yeah, right. Turkeys! The turkeys have been through here. How cool. Oh yeah. Slick spot. Very slick spot. But it's gorgeous though. So this is where I'm headed, down, around, and then over. Very slick. Very, very, very slick. Whoa, 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 whoa. The camera doesn't do this justice. It's not that it's just steep, but there's so many hazards under the snow there. Very slick rocks, covered in ice. You know, I think after that point, everything else should be pretty much smooth sailing. I think that was the slickest spot back there. All right. If you guys have ever read a survival guide, something like that, it would tell you never to eat the snow because it damages the membranes inside your mouth. That's not true. No different than chewing on a piece of ice. Of course, there are elements of common sense to this. If your core temperature is low, if you're very, very cold, don't do it. That would be a bad idea. But if you're hiking around, your body's hot, your furnace is going, you can, and you'll be just fine. Also, it's a fantastic way of cooling yourself down as you're hiking along. I'm hiking here, I'm getting hot, grab a little bit of snow, oh man. Cools me off, gives me some water. Oh yeah. Life is good. You know, it's pretty funny with survival manuals and even books that are written about bushcraft. You know, it's like one book copies another. It's the same old stuff. Lots of factual information, but they're lacking the common sense aspects, which is the most important part to backpacking, to survival, to bushcraft. Anyways, folks, I'm having a great time hiking along here. The snow's coming down. It's not windy. Perfect conditions, perfect. Definitely a lot of snow on the trail though. It's very deep. I'd say we have about 7 inches on the trail. Maybe a little bit more than that. No matter what, it's still pretty easy to walk through, so that's good. You know, going back to the whole snow eating thing, you have to be careful about the snow that you eat. If the snow is fresh, you're fine, go ahead and eat it. If the snow's been on the ground for a couple of days, scrape off a couple of inches until you can get down. There's all sorts of bacteria and crud that can grow on snow. If the snow has a strange color to it, even slightly, don't eat it. Yeah. Also, never grab snow from a limb, a bush, or anything like that. There may be ticks and other critters under the snow. I've heard stories of people grabbing handfuls of snow off of bushes and so on, ended up putting ticks in their mouths. And that's because ticks are very resilient. They can handle the snow, they can handle the cold. And they're always on the bushes, and that's how they latch on. I've been making pretty good progress. It's incredibly peaceful. I mean, it's amazing. I don't know how many miles in I am, no clue. When you're hiking in snow, it really throws off your internal counter. And that's because walking in snow is so difficult. It is said that walking 1 mile in the snow is the equivalent of walking 3 miles. And that's because you're using your body and your muscles in different ways than you would if the conditions were good. I'm definitely making sure to take a lot of breaks because this is so much more strenuous. If you're going out for your own winter adventure, go nice and slow. Let your body rest up. Let your mind be clear. That way you don't make mistakes. You don't rush. You know, they should call this place Bunny Mountain because there are rabbit tracks all over the place. If this was a survival situation, I'd take my shoelaces out and set up some snares. I'd be living good, living good. Then when the snow melted away, I would die of starvation. Snaring and trapping is so much easier when there's snow on the ground. You know, like in the fall, where all the vegetation is dead, there's no snow on the ground, survival is very, very hard. When it comes to backpacking, bushcraft, survival, primitive camping, all of those skills go together. And the more skills that you can have, the better outdoorsman or outdoors woman you will be. I don't know if you all can hear that, but that was 2 snow plows coming through. Haha. Just in time for me to get down to the car. Who knows? Maybe I will be able to make it home. So, the adventure has been going great. I've enjoyed every moment of it. So much fun. I hope you guys have too. I'd say 15 minutes away from the car. Here comes another snowplow. Listen. Down there is a snowplow. 2 of them, actually. All right, well, I just had an awesome experience. I was just recognized by a hiker back there. He's out with his son. They're heading down towards Damascus. They camped out at Thomas Knob Shelter. That's the cabin out towards Mount Rogers. Or I guess it's a shelter, not really a cabin. Well, whatever. Anyways, he's like, oh, I recognize you. How cool is that? He said the roads are in good shape. Good. I told him to eat a cheeseburger for me when he got to Damascus. You know, they said they camped out at Thomas Knob Shelter, and it was a full house, he said. Said it was packed. Guys, I was that close from going there. It wasn't until I pulled into the parking lot and I was like, huh, snowstorm, White Top Mountain. Parking lot is right down here, guys. It's right down here. I'll see you at the bottom. The adventure is coming to an end. The roads are great. They're in fantastic shape. Oh yeah. Guys, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Let's go check out the road. Looks really good. Looks really good. I mean, it's icy, but it's doable. For this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review, I want to thank you all so much for joining me for this trip. If you like what you saw here with this adventure, feel free to support the channel on Patreon. You'll find a link down below. Until next time, everyone, strength and honor. See you guys around. Let's go home.